Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today we have a discussion for you on my weekly reading for the week ending the 16th? The 16th of February. I'm going to be talking about what I have been reading this week, what I'm currently reading, what I'm going to be reading next, videos that have gone up this week, videos that are going up next week, and everything else under the booktube sun that we are going to talk about this week. So, quick note, I am filming this one day early. Normally I film it on Fridays, but my whole family is home because it's half term, so I don't know if I will have any peace and quiet to film tomorrow in time to get the episode out. So I thought I would film it early, and then if I ever want to make an update or anything like that, I can do it via a short. So if you want updates, keep looking out for shorts. What have I been reading this week? So I started off the week with The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. Absolutely loved this one. I talked about in the review for this, so I've actually I finished it and recorded the review same day, and so I could post it in the Wednesday review slot last week. Now, my main feeling with the Eye of the World was that it was really, really surprising, and it was a good book with lots of potential. And I feel very similar about this one, but I feel like this was overall a better experience. I feel like there was a bit more agency on the part of the characters. I feel like there were more interesting and explicit goals, and I feel like the character moments we got were a lot more interesting. So while I rated both of these first two books 4 stars, I would say that this is kind of like closer to a 4.5, but I don't do half stars. This is a better 4-star book than The Eye of the World. If you'd like to see more content on this one, obviously Matt and I will be doing our full spoiler discussion later on in the month. Matt has one of those people who he reads like 6 books at a time, whereas I only read 1 book and I like hardcore focus on that book. So Matt will take a while longer to finish reading. Once he has finished, we'll record our episode. After that, I started heavy one because it's a big boy, Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio. This is the second full-length novel in the Sun Eater series. It would be the third Sun Eater book that I've read, because I did read Lesser Devil, the novella set between book 1 and 2, which kind of sort of is also set at the same time as book 1, but I won't spoil either of those things. There's a cat on my windowsill. This video has been quite cat heavy. The previous video that I've just finished filming, one of my cats threw up right at the end of it, right next to the camera. So it didn't really come through on the video. However, still weird. And anyway, Howling Dark is a sci-fi space opera. It is a lot more space opera than the first book, Empire of Silence. I'm currently almost exactly a quarter of the way through. I've been really enjoying going between the physical copy and the audiobook for this one. I actually went to the cinema on Tuesday night to see the 10th anniversary reissue of Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan, which was one of my favourite sci-fi films. And I started reading this book by listening to it on the journey to and from watching that movie. There's kind of some similarities, I guess, like the fugue state stuff. They go into cryo sleep in Interstellar, and talking about, loss of years and things like that happening in Interstellar also happens in this. I'm only a quarter of the way through. I feel like the thing that I'm enjoying more about this one is that it feels more like Hadrian is doing stuff rather than stuff happening to Hadrian. That was, I think, reflecting back on Empire of Silence, one of my big criticisms with that is that it feels like things happen to Hadrian. Hadrian doesn't make things happen. Whereas in Howling Dark, already there's been multiple things where he's been the kind of the cause of things happening in the story. So I'm much more enjoying this one than Empire of Silence so far. I do think the beginning of Empire of Silence was better. All the Marlowe family stuff on Delos was more interesting than the beginning of this book currently has been. But everything else in this book, like the kind of like, I don't find the characters as interesting here. And there's a lot of like Hadrian talking about, so there is, extremely minor spoiler, there is a time jump between book 1 and book 2, and a lot of relationships have been established during that time jump, which I don't feel I had the connection to feel the same way as the main characters, if that makes sense. We'll come back to that when I talk about the book for the review. What am I going to read next? So I am currently, as you know, I like to go fantasy, sci-fi, fantasy, sci-fi, fantasy, sci-fi, and those are my 6 books for the month. I am counting urban fantasy as not fantasy, if that makes sense. So I've got Empire of the Vampire here, and Empire of the Vampire would be going into the same slot as a sci-fi. So, because like, I think it's an urban fantasy. Maybe I should find out if it is before I slot it in, and then I'm like, no, this is just more fantasy. So if you've read Empire of the Vampire, tell me, is it an urban fantasy? Is it modern, or is it historical? But we have a surprise book this month that was not on the TBR. So I applied on a whim a long time ago to join indie book tours, which is where indie authors send out physical arcs of their new and upcoming releases, and then there's kind of like a program of content. And I was selected for the indie book tour for Blood Rain by Ezra Payne, which is the first book in the Hateful Tales series. I've been sent this absolutely stunning hardcover. I think the cover art is very nice, but even more than the cover art, the quality of this book is really high. I'm really excited to get down to this one. So my next read was originally going to be Trials of Empire, the 3rd book in the Empire of the Wolf. However, I did get an email from Orbit Books, because I emailed them and said a while ago and asked if I could have an early review copy. And they emailed me back and said, hey, apply for a copy here and we'll get back in touch. So I kind of want to wait and see whether they send me a review copy. Which is why, and this one I need to read before the end of the month anyway. I didn't think that I'd been selected for this book tour thing until way after I'd done the TBR video for this month. So TBR's kind of up in the air this month. This will count as a self-published book, although I do still want to read Blood Reunion if possible. This is already this month has kind of completely slipped out of my control reading wise. So because I started this month's books late, I did read a Red Rising book to try and like speed up the beginning of the month, but then I read a Wheel of Time book and that slowed me down a little. So I'm planning on reading around a quarter of Howling Dark every day, although I don't think I'll manage that today because I'm going to the cinema tonight to see Madam Web. I know, for my sins, I just love superhero movies and I go and watch every single one of them. So Blood Rain by Ezra Payne is likely to be my next read. Everything, as I said, is completely up in the air. So why don't I tell you what this book is about, actually, rather than telling you about my scheduling. So after decades of forced labour, liberated humans occupied the grand stone city of Balkar. Though passing years have warped the once prosperous jewel of the desert into a crumbling prison surrounded by monstrous fiends. With few options left, a plan forms to return the city's makers, giant lizard-like creatures of formidable strength, to aid in returning the kingdom to its former glory. But this horde of Hexets were responsible for the previous incarnation, and most would rather die slowly than risk another tyrannical reign. Drastic change requires drastic action, and not all will support it. Noxelis and her allies attempt to reunite two estranged races while opposed by forces both mortal and divine. Yeah, this sounds real interesting. I do like the cover. I love that. I'm really excited to participate in this book tour. Look, I've just seen this. Look, illustrations. We all love a hardback with illustrations. Anyway, so Blood Rain likely to be my next pick. If it is not Blood Rain, it'll be Trials of Empire. If it is not Trials of it, and then after each of these books, it'll probably be Empire of the Vampire or Blood Reunion will be the next book I read. It may end up that one or two of the books from this month get pushed into next month's TBR, because I did that really cool thing where I stacked in a lot of very long books in the same month. It's the shortest month of the year, and I did not finish January's books in January, so I carried some over. So unless something magical happens and I have an incredibly focused burst of reading, it's unlikely I'll finish all my books this month. But, you never know. So Monday, the next review video should go up on Monday, which currently would be Howling Dark, which I have not finished, and I don't know if I will have finished by Monday. We will see. Because if I finish it, Monday morning before I start work, I could use my lunch break to film the review. Maybe we'll just skip a day, or maybe I'll do something weird on Monday. Tuesday is going to be my 6 months on booktube video. So this is going to be kind of a summary of the last 6 months, how I found doing booktube, things I've learned, and then we're also going to go into some stats. So if you guys like analytics and stats, then that's the one for you. If you're weirdly invested in my channel and its progress, then see you on Tuesday. Wednesday would also normally be another video review. If Howling Dark is able to get done by Monday, I don't know whether I'll be able to finish the next book by Wednesday. So it's probably likely we're only going to get one book review next week instead of my usual two. But I will see what I can do to fill the Wednesday slot in the schedule, because I do feel like it's important to keep the consistency with my 5 videos a week. I have been for a very long time toying with reviewing 3 different things. So one would be my Kindle. So I have the 2022 basic cheapest model Kindle, and I absolutely love it. And I feel like more people need to review that device. So I've been thinking about doing that. But I did just do a Kindle review quite recently, and I kind of want to space them out. The other thing is there's been loads of news about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow coming out, and I would like to read and review that comics. I never actually finished it. I read the first issue, loved it, and was like, right, I'll come back to this when it's finished. And I have also been reading another comic, which is The Black Ring, which is a kind of Lex Luthor starring sci-fi adventure. So I don't know how interested my audience is in American comics like Supergirl or The Black Ring, but I do know that having a video is better than no video at all. Actually, maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't, guys. If you're interested in any of those video ideas, so the Kindle review, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, which is going to be turned into a movie from DC Studios. They've just cast Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon as Supergirl. Or maybe Black Ring, which is also very good. Then drop something down in the comments, let me know which one you like. And if enough people say they want a certain thing, maybe I'll go and do that. Thursday will be the Wandering In as normal. Friday will be the Friday recap. I think next week might be the last Friday recap of the month. Yeah, because we're at the halfway point for the month. So next week will be the last Friday recap, and then the month after will be the week after will be the February recap. So That is pretty much everything I have to talk to you guys about this week. I'll try and remember to do a short about how bad Madam Web is, because it's apparently terrible. The review, it's like 17% positive on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very poor. So yeah, I'm trying to remember to do a video review for that as a short, just to kind of let you guys know what I'm wasting my reading time on. And if you've got anything you want to chat with me about, do so in the comments. Yeah, thanks so much for watching all the videos this week. I really enjoyed making the 6 tips for booktube video, and the 2 books that I reviewed this week, both book 2s in big series, Red Rising and Wheel of Time. I really loved making those, especially the Wheel of Time review, and I think that the review for that was really strong. One of my goals for this year was to write more notes when doing reviews, but I think that having done a few reviews with notes, I'm better off the cuff. So I think my Great Hunt review is actually one of the best reviews I've done. So if you've read the book, it is a non-spoiler review. You need to have read Eye of the World first. But if you've read Eye of the World, I'd recommend that Great Hunt review. And yeah, chat with me in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next week.